Chaos erupted in the Spanish parliament in its first session since Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez's top aide was implicated in a corruption scandal. The chaos was orchestrated by far-right Vox party leader Santiago Abascal, who called Sánchez indecent, corrupt, and a traitor before quickly leaving the chamber. Last week, Spanish police released audio recordings which confirmed that Santos Cerdán was involved in a scheme which saw him take kickbacks in return for public work contracts. Cerdán, who was the number 3 in command in Sánchez's Socialist Workers' Party, denied any wrongdoing and resigned from his post. Spanish lawmakers demanded Sánchez's resignation as they continued to press the premier to call for snap elections. Sánchez, however, deployed a more offensive tactic in a dramatic shift from last week's apologetic tone. The Spanish leader referenced corruption cases involving other parties in a bid to undermine their standing. Sánchez referenced the Gürtel case where hundreds of opposition People's Party officers were implicated in corruption allegations including bribery, money laundering, and tax fraud. Sánchez noted that his party actively addresses corruption issues as soon as they surface while accusing the PP and Vox of covering them up. PP leader Alberto Núñez Feijóo accused Sánchez of attempting to act like a victim as he slammed him for being deeply entrenched in corruption. He also blasted Sánchez for not calling for snap elections as he claimed the Spanish premier knows he'd lose.
Chaos erupts as Sánchez, Feijóo trade corruption allegations in parliamentary session. The Spanish premier employed a more offensive stance in a dramatic shift from last week's, the first parliamentary session in Spain, since a top aide of Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez was implicated in a corruption scandal, took place on Wednesday. The session quickly turned chaotic, with various lawmakers calling on Sánchez to resign as political pressure mounts against him. People's Party PP lawmakers banged their seats and shouted resignation, resignation. The scene orchestrated by Santiago Abascal, leader of the far-right Vox party, who left the chamber without listening to Sánchez and staring at him with contempt as he passed by. "You are indecent, and not even your supporters have any doubt about that. All of Spain knows it. You are corrupt and a traitor," said Abascal before leaving the chamber. The Spanish premier chose to deploy an offensive tactic. He referenced corruption cases linked with other parties. Sánchez spoke of the Gürtel case, which implicated hundreds of PP officers, some who subsequently resigned, with corruption, including bribery, money laundering and tax evasion. The PP parliamentary caucus erupted, and the situation quickly turned chaotic, with Parliament Speaker Francina Armengol struggling to control the session. "You are a president deeply trapped in a corruption scheme. No matter how much you disguise it, you are not the victim. The victims are the Spanish people," said Alberto Núñez Feijóo, president of the PP. "You came to say you won't call elections because you would lose them. You don't have to save the Spanish people from themselves. The Spanish people have to save themselves from you, and they await your resignation letter," he added. Sánchez then said that the only thing he's going to address are the PP corruption cases, which are set to be tried in the coming months. Sánchez has completely changed his tone, moving from last week's apology to a coordinated offensive against the opposition, PP, and Vox. The Spanish leader believes they lack the legitimacy to speak about corruption, given their serious graft cases. The difference, as Sánchez notes, is that the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party, PSOE, acts as soon as there are signs, while the PP and Vox cover up corruption. Sánchez attempted to steer the session away from the PSOE's corruption case, but to no avail. The last few days have been very tense since audio recordings were released by Spanish police last week. The tapes confirmed that the third highest-ranking PSOE official, who since resigned, Sánchez Cerdán, was involved in an illegal scheme which saw him take kickbacks in return for awarding public work contracts. Cerdán has denied any wrongdoing. Like and subscribe for more. Thanks.